everyone, this is Greyshot17
and Greyshot151 here,
and we are reviewing Ready Player One, the film that just came out by Steven Spielberg,
based on the critically acclaimed book.
There we go, words.
Before we head on, we are also sponsored by Dolish Industries, our longtime sponsor for this movie month. Dolish Industries, world domination is their primary directive.
It's not a real thing. Anyway.
It totally
just like Oasis, this is fake. Anyway, moving on.
Yes,
Ready Player One
sets place in a virtual world. Oh, sorry, you want to go with the characters. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, you interrupted me. I'm going to interrupt you. It's just...
Ready Player One is about the future. There's a VR type game where essentially it's not really a game. It's like the original version of... What was that game that people could actually pay real estate for and actually had their own lives? It's Virtual
like
reality?
Real life?
Yeah, something like that. Well, essentially, it's a better version.
Didn't that turn into like a porn game or something?
It did. Anyway, so it's a real life version of a virtual reality that you can go into and do whatever you want. You can be with Batman. You can hang out with any video game character. You could go back in time and check out something from like ancient era. Whatever you want to do, you can do in here. There's science, there's magic, etc. Well, in any case, this guy, the creator, died, but he left an Easter egg hunt, and if you get all 3 keys, you can control the Oasis and $500 billion. So, small amount of money.
I think the stock might have gone up since he's dead, so...
Yeah. Oh my God! That's a good point.
Yeah, it's probably gone up a little bit because he dies and then
$600 billion,
and then obviously as time passes, whoever gets control of the stock market's probably going to go up a bit. I'm just saying as an accountant, I would know these things, but essentially the main character is a gentleman by the name of Wade Watts who tries to compete in this challenge to get the 3 keys. With him is his his best friend H. Yes. And a cast of characters he discovers along the way.
I should probably mention, I read the book. I'll be doing book insight.
Yes.
We'll do that more in spoilers. We're just doing the basic premise of this film. Now, he has not read the book. So,
yes, I'm just what you call your average nerd. I have seen plenty of movies, plenty of sci-fi movies. I've read many books, and I have seen many shows. Yep. So I'm essentially what this... I'm the geek that this movie is aimed towards.
Yeah.
So we have a good repertoire between our thoughts, which I actually think is going to shock a few viewers in regards to our final verdicts. But in any case... How does this movie play out? Well, first off, the Oasis.
Yes.
It's very exposition heavy in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And that's not really a spoiler, but it's very much setting up this world.
It's like 10 minutes of pure talking.
Yeah, it really is.
They have some great visuals. Like, that's the thing I'll give this film. Yeah. The visuals are incredible.
Especially Planet Doom, which is basically how this world is set up is each character you get, essentially you create your character. And as you create your character, if your character dies, then you lose everything. You essentially kind of like Sonic, all your coins pop out and you reset and you have to go back to level 1. Which means that there's also a risk reward type system. Very much there are places where there's high level loot items, like essentially like a legendary drop in like Hearthstone or like in Destiny, like the highest tier, kind of like those kind of loot, except it's not a loot box. You have to compete for these. You have to do challenges. You can't just pay to win. You have to complete these things. Like there's one challenge that lets you like summon a robot, or one challenge that lets you, you could buy things or get tons of gold. It's kind of creative in that sense, and I actually did like that functionality. It created like this economic ecosystem to this world, which I was super...
Which also...
Because it also means there's some players that just totally don't risk anything. They just work. They like, again, like World of Warcraft, they just grind coins and just pay it off and live a well life there.
Yeah, the one player, Aik, he essentially just pretty much... This person just makes a how do I say this? He has a mechanic shop that's inside the Oasis, so he essentially repairs everything.
Yeah, he kind of like mods things, and people come to him, pay him coins, and he just makes stuff. And that's on the Steam Workshop. Like that is people make a lot of money. I mean, it's not everyone, but it's there are a lot of people that make a lot of money making CS:GO skins and things of that nature, or mods on Skyrim.
But that being said, the evil corporation IOI wants to get control so they can put in microtransactions and other things. I'm just like, wow,
EA.
God damn! I never thought like a big bad CEO's master plan would just be microtransactions and that would be it. But dear Lord, they got it. That is truly like a relatable evil plan. That is not...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh my God. I just realized.
What?
If you rearrange the numbers and you burn and you turn them a little bit and contort them, you get EA.
Oh god.
Oh god, they were the villain the entire time.
And if you actually twist it backwards, it reveals more and actually becomes Activision as well.
Oh my god.
It's diabolical.
Pure evil. That's why
it used to be Ubisoft as well, but they kind of slashed that one out.
Yeah, they weren't evil enough for the evil club.
Yeah.
But no, our jokes aside on the game industry as a whole, the story itself is very much a get to the challenge, finish the challenge, figure out the challenge, move on. And there are some detours and side quests.
Some light character moments, I would say.
Yes, some of them very funny. Some of them very heartful. But the main goal of this is the journey of Wade is good. I was very worried going into this movie thinking this would only be references and
that's how the trailer sold it.
Yeah, but I will say those are really in the back seat, and
it's like Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, and that's actually a great example because Wreck-It Ralph, the focus is always on the main character and the world itself that is unique to this. Well, in this case, that movie, but in this case, the movie and the book. It gets distracted here or there. You might get distracted with like a creature or like a person or a character
or a group of Spartans.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's their story. It's just the world they're in also incorporates aspects of our world, which makes it kind of very relatable.
The one thing I will say about this movie, however, is if you're looking for great character development, you're not going to get it. There are some really touching moments, especially with the revelation about Holiday, and that kind of goes with the book as well. That being said, Wade Watts, I would say, is look in the book.
He's better. For one, you mentioned in the book he doesn't have too much character development. He's just a person that knows a lot of things.
Yeah, he goes from to okay, I'll help. It's like I'll do this, and he does do a lot of very risky things in the book that maybe isn't in the film, but it's roughly the same. There, like I said, I'll go into spoilers about a lot of the other things, but I feel like Olivia Cook as Samantha did a pretty good job.
That's Artemis, essentially the girl with the red hair.
Yeah.
I honestly, actually, out of everyone, she was the one.
Ben Mendelsohn also did great as well. But you finish your thought.
I was gonna say, she did a pretty good job because I can totally see that person. Like Wade makes kind of sense because he's not. They kind of do pick the actors they pick do make sense for the role because they're not going to be showing in a model, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are just, they're gamers. Like they're not going to be the most physically fit. They're not going to be the most attractive. And I think they also gave a good reason about why these people would be in this virtual world.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, and Holiday is actually a perfect example. He created this world to get away from the real world, and it's very much a
keep going.
It's kind of this transition of realizing the situation you're in, and Wade understanding the world, and even Artemis kind of getting some new perspective, and that I kind of liked. Again, this movie, for as crazy as it gets, I actually did find a bit of relation to them, the characters. Also, in regards to the side characters, they're all pretty good. The best friend, H, the mechanic, fantastic. You had the two basically pro players. I'd basically say like you can imagine MLG. These are the two players. They'd basically be like they'd always be on the leaderboards. They are the best in the world, essentially, or two of the best.
Yeah.
That are friends with the mechanic because he helps them out on occasion. Mm-hmm. And the group work. The plot though gets a little twisted. Like there's quite a few plot holes here and there.
Oh, quite. There's the things that don't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact of all these 5 different players, the fact is, like, if you were... I've been on, like, PC and Xbox Live for a long time, and if I may make a note, there are not too many people that are, like, in driving distance from me, for instance. I literally flew across the country, and I was an hour away from... that was the closest I ever got to, like, someone.
Yeah.
Or I went to a college of someone's sister. Like, it's insane to think 5 random people from across the world are all in driving distance.
But the one thing I will say is, yes, that is sort of weird. They did mention that Columbus was a thriving, growing city, so maybe that's their ticket.
Their excuse, yeah.
But like I said, the book is very different. I don't want to spoil the book right now, but like I said, I feel like the soundtrack in this is really good. They have some great sound bites and everything from different genres and different types of films they pull in, plus their own score. I feel like the effects are fantastic. The characters are good, except for like a few standouts like Ben Mendelsohn,
and the action's great,
hilarious as the main villain. And I liked his main villain because he's so relatable. and not relatable as a like I could be this person. It's like, oh, I know that guy.
Relatable as I've seen this person in real life.
He's the best crooked CEO that you can have in a film.
Not only that, but he's the best example of someone that's completely ignorant.
And by the way,
the surrounding area, like literally, there's a moment of, and this is a very, very minor spoiler, but it gets to the character. That he has someone whispering in his ear all these pop culture things because he doesn't care.
Yeah,
and it relates to the fact that like I know a whole bunch of nerdy stuff, and I go to my office all the time, and I have to stop myself from saying nerdy shit because no one understands it.
I do feel like they pull enough references from like old games and old media and current media that it makes it relevant.
Yeah, and
I like how they didn't like squander or push out a certain media or make it feel like it was negative.
Yep.
They showed everything in a good light. But that being said, and what I mean is like the properties, like no property was treated terribly. Like some video game movies that'll be like, oh, we know this, and you look at it, it's like, no, you don't. Yeah. They knew what they were doing with everything, and that's good to see.
Also, the Easter eggs really kind of played to their characters. Like, obviously,
Tracer is very like happy-go-lucky, like
people impersonate the character. Like, it's very much this is a place where you can role play as that
you can
character.
buy this skin, and again, it fits. But
it totally fits.
Yeah,
people would pay a lot of money to get. Much money do people spend on skins in like Overwatch or like other games? Look, they would literally throw thousands of dollars if they could get like an actual. You could become. If I
could become a Spartan, I would have that. I would have that meme be like, take my money now.
Yeah, if I could buy real life Spartan armor, like legit high quality, like your stuff you see at cons, I would do so in a heartbeat. I just can't find a seller. Yeah. It's on my things to get list.
Anyway. I just imagine you in a Mechagodzilla suit. Anyway, so moving on.
Our final thoughts, I guess.
Final thoughts, yes.
Oh, one last note.
God damn.
The action is very good in this movie, and there are plenty of great Easter eggs.
You can see everything.
References and whatnot. Yeah, everything is seeable. The final fight's great. And there are a few questionable uses of logic in order to the challenges, but we'll get to that in spoilers. Any case, to the actual review. What would I give this movie? This is going to sound really, really bad. I would give this movie a 7. And that is a low 7. Here's why.
I can see
Plot
why.
Holes, characters, and just, again, there are some things that, again, the plot holes, the characters, really, both of those really drag this movie down, and the fact that these characters, while good, aren't memorable. At least I'm not going to remember them. And maybe I will. Who knows? Go down 10 years and maybe this will be the movie I look back on fondly. But in regards right now, I don't see these characters lasting and putting so much of an impression on me. It's more the reference. It's honestly what they use with the references around the characters is what I'm probably going to remember more than the actual characters. Even though the movie itself focuses on the characters.
That said, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. And maybe that's just because I've read the book, so I understood everything a lot more, so I was excited when I saw certain characters. But again, I could see that.
Again, for this movie just makes a 7. But this is not to say this movie is
This was a visual entertaining movie for me as well.
Actually, the third note is if you're not really into games or culture, like you really kind of shut off. Comically enough, if you're shut off from pop culture. I don't
know about that because they have music references. They have old movie references. They have video game references. They have comic references.
What I'm saying is
everything. There was RoboCop in there.
What I'm saying is if we showed this to like our mom, there's no way she would. There's if you showed her Jurassic Park, she
would get the T-Rex and King Kong.
She could probably follow that. If you showed this to someone who is like, again, our mom.
What's this VR you're talking about?
She would probably stop watching this after 15 minutes because she could not understand how people could relate to this video game world.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that I think there are more universal movies that are just going to touch people and are much more relatable than this movie. Which I even felt a little bit at certain points. But this is still a movie I would highly recommend and I'd say watch. It's a good movie, but it's still a movie I would say watch. It's a movie I'd say watch in theaters. It's a movie I would say if you even have an interest in it, go see it. Because it is definitely worth your time. It's just not a movie that I think is going to be the Jurassic Park of like VR or something of that nature.
Jurassic Park of VR.
In regards to a movie that kind of makes things explode. Because, like, it's like Star Wars.
Game changer.
Yeah, it's not the game changer of like setting people off. We need to get VR. Kind of like how Star Wars was for sci-fi.
But I feel
and how it sparked science fiction
interest. I feel like a lot of people who see this film and can now go buy a VR headset might want to go buy a VR headset because they're like, you can do that in there? Yeah. Oh my god.
It's honestly,
let's just say this. There's a haptic feedback suit that goes all the way down to the groin. With today's technology, you can only imagine what that could be used for. And
there should have just been Porn World. Like, Pornhub should have just, like, had, like...
a sponsorship?
Had a sponsor... Pornhun. And
Ready Player One, sponsored by Pornhub.
You should have just seen the hub. Because I guarantee... Listen, let's be quite honest now. There's one thing that people are going to go to for this technology more so than anything else. And let's be honest, half the players going to be in there video gaming. Okay, no. Like, quarter going to be video gaming, quarter's going to be social, half of them is going to be porn. Like, let's not...
Right, you're not wrong. You're not... And you know what? There'll be... Once again, you have your own, like, areas. You'll have goddamn straight world, gay world, a hentai world. You have all of this.
It'll be a rainbow. A rainbow.
A rainbow of goddamn sex.
Last thing I will say, and this is a more note, I will say the ending I was not a big fan of either. The ending I think could have been touched a little bit better.
It was very happy. It was very
It's not even that, it's what they show, and that's all I'm going to leave it. So in any case, guys, we're going to be diving into spoilers now, so remember, our official rating is in...
Well, 8 for book, 7 for normal film goer.
Yes.
In the book, they do explain a lot more, but the world also is a lot more bleak. For example, Daito dies in the book. He gets brutally murdered. I was shocked he survived. I'm like, oh, they're not killing him?
To be fair, there is a moment in this movie, again, we're in the spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Where a Korean man almost jumps out of a window. That is insanely dark and funny at the same time. It's insane. Like, he opens the window and just gets tackled.
He gets tackled, and someone's like, oh my god. And I'm just like, we're all busting out laughing. There's a scene with a girl who's beating up, someone gets beat up, and the guy's like, no! And then, of course, it turns out to be, I think, the uncle.
Yeah.
Or not the uncle, a boyfriend of the aunt who is abusive, and the other person.
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, when they die, I'm like, oh, Wade doesn't care because why would you?
Yeah, it's like the aunt that pays no attention to him and the shitty boyfriend that beats the crap out of him. He's gonna remorse their death so much.
You know what? He more so the person at the bottom of the stack that got blown up, the old woman. He did in the book care about her, so that it was like
okay.
But so that was a little bit more. There's a little bit more time to
build those characters.
Also, in the book, Artemis and all the group get met. The remaining that's alive get flown together by Og, who's in this, but different.
Og is used apparently far more in the book than is the movie.
Yes.
And
so in the movie as well, that dance sequence is actually Og's birthday party.
Oh.
So that's a different part. That's when they're like searching for the second Easter egg. So that's kind of where it is. But that being said, it's a party, and Og just essentially, when Sixers come in like that, he just vanquishes every single one and goes like, back to the party, everybody. But anyway, a few other things that I should probably mention are the
fact that all these characters come together.
Artemis gets taken in the movie. In the book, it's Wade Watts, and he goes in there. That was also really well done. I did like that because it seemed like, again, also in the book, the world itself is so bad that there are armed guards on buses going outside of cities because of people attacking cars and trying to get free money and loot.
Also, let's not forget about the fact that again, this is a stupid thing, but something I could totally see is the fact the guy had his password on his desk.
Oh yeah, he's like
seeing some. Okay, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
When I was a CA at a property, literally, I swear to God, on every computer was a sticky note that had a password on it and exactly what it was supposed to sign in for.
Yep.
So there are people probably going to be like, that's totally unrealistic.
No.
As seeing literally the leasing assistant, the AGM, the GM, and seeing plenty of other people do this, including people at my company and the corporate HQ.
Yeah. No.
I could not relate to that moment anymore. Just seeing that, I was just like, yeah, this guy's a freaking idiot. And there's a moment where it's shown that he used to get coffee for the guy that created it.
Yeah.
And that was his claim to fame.
Yep.
It was like,
that makes sense.
This explains everything.
Yep.
This explains everything.
But also, when I was reading the book, I got from that guy, I'm like, why am I getting the voice of Heath Ledger? Not Heath Ledger, sorry. Mark Hamill from him, like the Joker. And I'm like, I don't know. I had this weird thing. And I see the movie, I'm like, that's the voice. That's the exact voice I got from the guy. Because he's like, talking really nice and calm, and then on the moment he snaps, and I'm like, that works.
That
if
works.
you would have got Mark Hamill as it, he would have worked. But
Also,
Ben Mendelsohn was one of my favorite parts of this film.
The main villain is based off of freaking Superman.
Oh, well, no, you know
it is because it's a big guy in a suit, and if you
I
notice,
thought it was Bruce Wayne.
It's a combination.
Yeah,
because it's like the billionaire suit, but you also have.
I thought he was going to become Batman for a moment. I'm like, is he going to become Batman?
To be fair, the reference with him climbing the Himalayas with Batman, I'd pay money to do that. Here's take my money now. Let me do it. But yeah, he had the curl, which I thought was very much on a twist. Also, we're definitely deep into spoilers.
References to Reservoir Dogs.
Mechagodzilla's in this, and he is awesome.
Also, he fights the Iron Giant, which
and
is
Gundam.
Awesome. And a Gundam. Also, like half the army, which like they have like I love this. They have like an Abrams tank. They have a fucking Grunt tank in it.
Yep.
It's from Halo. They have a Halo Spartans. There's all sorts of video game characters. Freaking Chucky was hilarious. The
Shining.
Oh, okay. So that's the thing. I'm so glad no one spoiled this for me.
There's
a
whole
in the book
challenge based on The Shining, and it is funny as all hell.
In the book, there are two. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off and War Games, where they have to reenact the scene, like moment by moment, word by word. In this, it's go in The Shining and do it. And I like how the person's like, I don't watch scary movies. I'm like, I relate to that.
Yeah.
Because it's like trying to get people to watch scary movies. It's like pulling teeth.
It's like trying to get someone to play a horror game.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you made me to play Alien Isolation.
Hey,
I
girls.
lasted 2 minutes.
No, come back. Where are you going?
Then
and
just gets hit the river.
No, don't hit the button.
Or also, there's a moment where they complete the challenge, and now the other thing I will say is in regards to the challenges.
Also, H is a girl, by the way.
Yeah,
but that being said, she's gay. So,
I mean, they really don't say that in the
No, they do.
They do?
In the movie, she's like, I don't know what. It's like, okay, naked girl. All right. Then she looks around. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to go with it. Goes in for the kiss, and then she looks over and sees the dead body.
Oh, yeah, that actually...
Because
I totally forgot about that.
In the book, Wade Watson, her, would go back and forth about talking about girls and dating advice. So in this, that's why I'm kind of like, that's why I refer to as a guy.
That explains... Okay.
And that's how she knows how to pick up girls, if that makes sense.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. Oh my god,
yeah,
mind blown. Other thing I will say, it is stupid as all hell how he wins the first challenge in this movie. I could not believe that for 1 second.
No one ever went backwards.
It's like, are you kidding me? No one ever thought. I guarantee you, people would try to break the shit out of that game if that was the first challenge. They would literally try everything. They wouldn't just be the race. Could not believe that he won the first challenge just going backwards. It just didn't seem insane. The second challenge, I could totally get.
Well, here's the thing: the first challenge, the girl Artemis finds, but she can't beat Joust. She couldn't beat Joust, so she spent 3 weeks trying to do it, and she couldn't. And then he comes in and beats her one night, and she's so mad. She's like, "How did you beat the game?" And it. Yeah, so that
my counterpoint for the second one though is that it's a better payoff because first off, it's a lot.
And the second one, Artemis finds it before.
It's a lot more creative in regards how the key is found.
Yeah,
the third one's good.
Second was Zork, I believe, in the book, and
In regards to this one though, how it shows up is then all these people come in and try to find the key.
Yep.
Well, then they have to experience The Shining, and there's this shot of the CEO looking over his crowd of most. These are the employees at the top of the line. They're trying to been finding it for years.
And they're just being massacred.
Like, that was great. Just being terrified because I could totally understand that. If you're in a VR world and there's something scary as all hell, oh my god.
Run. Let's run.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so that's good. And then the final one, again, very clever. And I like the exposition at the end. My biggest problem, again, my next problem with the movie is, the final battle is great and the ending, kind of, where it's going to go.
I like the coin thing. He gets a perfect game Pac-Man. He bets with the curator, but he knows the curator so much. So that's how they built up a repertoire, which I liked that because it's like, okay, so who's Og? Because Og would actually do that kind of like shifting stuff, like being able to break. But that being said, he never used it to benefit or interfere with the game. He never interfered with the game. That was his dying oath. Because in the book, it's stated like they haven't talked in years. Though? In the book, I believe Holiday is dead. But
in this one, it's kind of left up to your
interpretation.
Yeah.
And in there, it's like a very, very personalized memory. But that being said, they could have easily done something like Holiday figured something out. But once again, it's done really well.
My major point is, I honestly think he's alive, and I think he just left the Oasis. If not, he left the Oasis, then he just checks on it on occasion. Like, once he knew this thing was back up, he came back. At least that's how I interpret it, but I like the fact that that's open-ended. I do like that fact. The fact I don't like,
also,
though,
I like the guy who played it, because he was in again.
He plays very much like a Willy Wonka-esque character, but he's very to himself, and it makes sense to why this character would set
Mark
this up.
Rylance is the guy, and again, did really well.
Fantastic job, yeah. The ending shot, though, I don't like, because Wade wins, and he gives it to he basically gives it to the 5 people. My biggest problem with that, first and foremost, is the fact that he asks the Oasis to help him, and basically causes them to sacrifice everything they have.
Yeah, that happens in the book.
And they get nothing. I'm guessing in the book they get something.
No.
No?
No, because again, the point of the end of the book was the fact, like, all those people, Sixers and Grunters, aka guys who are going for the eggs, and people under IO's the IO force, and also I do like the IO forced labor camps, because they did do that in the book, and I like that because I was like,
sense.
Yeah, and I'm like, because essentially it's like, don't pay your debt, cool, work for us, and oh, by the way, that hatch is a government protocol. They had to put those in because people were dying, so they had to. They wanted to make sure people had a way to survive, so they did stuff like that to make sure that people were okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were way okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the, again, civil rights. But anyway, so the
a lot of paying off there. But no, the last thing I say is very end is,
that team, by the way, searching for the Easter egg. I love that core team in IO, because they're a bunch of geeks and nerds that don't really care about IO necessarily. They're just trying to go for it because they're so happy. Like, someone finally got it. Someone finally got it.
The last thing I will say is, as I keep trying to say, the ending. First off, all those people that make the sacrifice really don't get anything. They kind of get screwed out of everything they've worked towards. Yes, they kind of help, but they kind of didn't. Yeah. It was kind of like they helped someone else get something and they got nothing.
I'm assuming again,
maybe he did something, but it's not shown. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way in regards to that. But because it's like they sacrificed everything they had, and they gave, and so you could win.
Yeah.
And
something about this, I should say, the video stream they did at the end.
Yeah.
They actually have in the book their own Twitch channel. It's not called Twitch, but essentially it's their own personal vlogging thing. They had in there.
I like that. The last note is, it ends with, they decide to show off the Oasis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That way people can experience the real world, which is a great idea. And I'm very happy that they didn't just show off the Oasis and say, this is bad. The problem I do have, though, with it is the fact that the final shot is him in this luxury suite, basically.
I mean, to be fair,
making out with his girlfriend, and it's like, that shouldn't be the final shot of the movie. I want to focus of, this is the real world. Well, now he's super rich. He can experience the fun of the real world, that shouldn't be it.
I think the point is they start looking at the problems and not, into the game.
Maybe it was in the background that the city was better, but the ending should have been them walking in, like, the city, and the city being better, or going out and seeing the world and experiencing the world.
Serato carrying a gun in a quote-unquote slum area, and no one has a gun. I'm like, are you serious? He would be shot dead.
It's Ohio. Let's be honest.
It's goddamn Ohio.
I don't care if it's Columbus. Yes.
It's America, damn it. Yeah. Everyone has a gun.
If not a gun, there would have been guys with bats or like something. He would have been dead. He pulls a gun, he would have been dead by bat in like 5 seconds. From like, oh, you're the asshole that's been, like taking advantage of all of us. Like,
I ate a bucket of popcorn. I'm thirsty. Deal with it. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, that was my biggest. Is the ending is, let's not celebrate the fact that, let's celebrate the real world. Let's celebrate the real world.
Hey man, you lost everything. You won the prize. Congratulations. You get a good life.
Yeah, but how do I say this?
It's showing off. I know exactly what you're saying. In the book, he's in a freaking mansion. Like, he's in a mansion and he's
better
not
than
out.
That. I just wish they would have shown the world improving, because that was the whole point. That's what I felt the point of this was, which was making people realize, they
need to show more of the outside world.
No, well, that.
But that being said, this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long with 10 minutes of
literally, the ending is
exposition.
focused on reality, and the ending shot is him in his house focusing on his girlfriend. It's like, that's you being, you won the prize, but the ending shot should have been like the city being improved, or them helping rebuild and make their world better.
I mean, to be fair,
and enjoying the Oasis, having them together, not being in your own room, just making out with your girlfriend for a day and then going back to the Oasis.
Like I said, I was fine with that. But in any case, it was a little happy with all the freaking signs, everything. Like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what got me. I'm like, really? Yeah. But other than that, I really enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, Mechagodzilla was great. The fights were great. Iron Giant did not disappoint.
I honestly thought the Iron Giant would have a bigger role.
He took the role of Ultraman. But that being said, I feel like I'm happy with that because I have more nostalgia feeling toward Iron Giant than I do to Ultraman. Though, again, it's nice to see.
Well, do you know why they couldn't get Ultraman?
Rights, I know all that.
Well, yeah, because there was a dispute in regards to who owned Ultraman, so they couldn't get the rights because...
I don't care. Iron Giant's great, and...
Oh, no, yeah, I'm totally glad they got Iron Giant.
They have, was it? Not
Gundam.
Gundam, thank you.
They're like the classic one,
which is great, because that thing...
Badass.
That thing was awesome.
It took on Mechagodzilla. Actually, do you know, there was a clip that was released on Toho Kingdom of that thing, and I just saw a brief second. Because first off, there was a screenshot of the hand of Godzilla. I'm like, oh shit, they screwed this up. This looks atrocious. It's not Kiryu. What's going to be? I found this out like at work today. And then literally there was a 10-second clip of the fight scene. And it was just a part of the Godzilla firing. I'm like, okay, you got me sold. I'm not going to see any
Also,
more.
I like how they had the hand cannons of Mechagodzilla.
Yes.
It's a combination of all of them.
Yeah. Which, it was really
and then the Godzilla theme with it going, it's like, it was so good.
It was so great. But in any case, guys, that is our review.
And also there's like rivers of blood and an alien chest burster and stuff like that. So it's like I was really going there like, wow, this got dark. Like there's some darker, like some bloody moments, but it's not necessarily a dark film.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad. It's like if this would have been radar, come on. It's like it's like
was Marvel in this?
Marvel, yeah, they had some. I think there's some like comics and stuff like that in there.
And thinking back,
I don't think it was
a lot
prominent.
of DC. I didn't see any Marvel.
Well, I could say the same thing where it was Sony. Like I didn't see any Sony sort of. You saw like Marvel, not Marvel. You saw a lot of Spielberg stuff. You saw like E.T. and other things, but you didn't really see a lot of like God of War, Kratos, or Uncharted. You didn't see any of those, I should say.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But you saw, like I said, you saw Microsoft.
Oh yeah,
Microsoft's like, please, and Nintendo was in there a little bit as well, if I remember, because they had like some worlds. I'm like, this is Mario Tennis. Yeah, and they had a few other things.
Minecraft.
Like, they had Star Fox, I think. They had the Star Fox Fighter as well. In the beginning, I think that was Star Fox Fighter. Again, I could be way off.
In any case, go see the movie. Go enjoy the references. Go enjoy the movie itself. Yes. It's a good movie.
Yeah. But it stands above all the references, and it makes references even better if you like references.
Yeah, very much like.
I haven't watched The Shining in years, and this made me appreciate The Shining.
It did. Actually, I've never seen the movie, to be honest, but I still enjoyed it. I still got it. But in any case, guys, this is Greyshot 151 and 117.
Hello.
And we will see you guys next time with our review of.
Probably Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs, yeah, or Rampage, one of the two.
We'll see. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Hello everyone, and before I go, I want to give a special shout out to Joey, Ace, Lobo, Leo, Nick, and Tim. Thank you guys so much for your awesome support. You guys rock and help me do what I do. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.